Peggy here, and I'm so happy you're here, either in person or on the replay. If we haven't met yet, I'm Peggy O'Neill, and I'm the founder of this Facebook community, Answering the Call. And by call, I mean it's that internal longing, that sense that something, that sense that I want more meaning and purpose in my life, or maybe there's something else that I'm here to contribute or accomplish, and I want to know what that is. I'm not willing to settle because I want to, that longing to, I want to feel fulfilled and whole and then fully express what I'm here to express. And we do that through these lives where I offer ideas about how to pursue that, as well as posts in the Facebook group. So those things, so both include exercises, self-reflection exercises, as well as occasionally some harmonizing experiences, because we want to align our body too with who we truly are. So welcome to today's session. We're going to talk about how do I naturally collaborate and express respect and trust just by realizing that I'm one being, that we are one being. And before we dive into that completely, if you're here in person, please say hi, write in the comments hi or something. I'll know you're here, I'll say hi. And if you're watching this on replay, please put hashtag replay in. And anytime you have any questions or comments, I'll address them live or come back later with a replay. So let's get going. How do I naturally collaborate and express respect and trust just by realizing we are one being? Which is the truth. We are one being. Science says that. We're all intimately entangled. We all each have at least one atom from every human being that's ever lived. Hey Sharon, thanks for being here. Very glad to see you. And that there's one, like we're all energy, we're just all energy vibrating. And wisdom teachers have been telling us this for thousands of years, that we're one being. We just think we're not one being because of a thought that we had in our formative years that created separation. So it's actually a mental construct that we believe that we're separate, but we're not. So if we knew that in our being, by know that I don't mean intellectually, but know that in our being, in our bodies, like we know our names, or we know how to tie a shoe, we just know it. So once we know it in that way, the reason it becomes, what I said we'd explore today is why it's not necessary to develop capacities of trust and respect, or those necessary for collaboration once we embody the realization we're one being, and why we can stop pursuing the developmental path if we so desire. So once we know this in all of our being, then we naturally feel like we want to share life with the other being. So for example, with the other person, or the other being, cat or a dog. So what, or a fish, okay, something else, anything else. We're all one really with everything. We're all one consciousness, one energy. So if we think about it this way, we just take our bodies, for example. We would not think our pointy finger is separate from the rest of us, right? And if the pointy finger was hurting, we wouldn't get all mad at it or argue with it, or we'd try to find out what's going on. So of course, if we're wanting relationships to have more trust and respect, it's not quite the same, but we would naturally, well, I guess it is, we trust this finger, right? We trust the finger to be here. We trust that it knows what to do. We trust that it's supportive of us because it's one with us. We don't even doubt that. We don't even think, well, I wonder how my pointy finger is going to treat me today. And so it naturally becomes that way. But again, we have this illusion that we're separate. So you can see hopefully see my fingers here, and you can tell they're attached, right? But we have an illusion that they're separate, or that we're separate. Just like that, if I put something in front of my fingers, they look like they're separate, apart from me. So that's it. We've created this illusion with a thought that we're separate, but we're actually as intimately connected as our hands are to our bodies. And we know we're going to work together. The whole body's a community. That's what's possible for us. Again, once we know that in our being with everyone and everything, then we see each other that way, just naturally. We don't have to remember to do it. We don't have to develop a capacity to listen, or a capacity to trust, or a capacity to respect, or a capacity to care. We naturally do, because we know we're one in our being, not intellectually. We realize it. We have insights. That's one way you find out, is we look within and examine our assumptions, and we stick with it until we realize, oh yeah, we're all one. And once we do that, again, just like we would with any part of our body that's aching, or one that's, that's when we really notice is when it's aching, right? Let's say our toes look pretty today. All right, so our toes look really pretty today. Then the same thing. We're naturally, we feel feel intrigued. What would be the word if our toes are pretty? We feel happy, let's say. So it's just enjoying it. There we go. We enjoy the pretty toes. Be the same thing with other people. We enjoy the other people. And again, if they're acting out in a way that would not naturally we would feel pleased by, then like we would our little finger that's aching, we'd just naturally be curious or naturally be interested. We wouldn't be judging them or judging ourselves, judging them. So when we know we are one as well, what tends to dissolve is our need to protect ourselves, because that's what happens when we believe we're separate. Then we believe that we identify with our bodies. We believe that where there's finite, limited, small being in this whole universe. We might not realize that's what we believe, but now that I've mentioned that, you could probably see that. Oh yeah, if I think I'm this limited, small body in this whole universe, then I'm going to naturally want to be protective, self-protective. So we get defensive because we're trying to take care of ourselves. We want to be right. We compare ourselves to other people. All those things are natural if we believe we're separate. But once we realize we're not separate, we don't have the need for any of that anymore. We don't need to protect ourselves, defend ourselves, be right. Why? Because we really get we're all in this together. Not in a conceptual way, oh, we're all in this together, so how do I need to act? We just naturally feel we're in this together. And so we naturally cooperate, naturally collaborate, naturally care about each other. So that's why we don't have to develop capacities of trust and respect. And in fact, if we develop capacities of trust and respect where underneath that is a lot of judgment, like I like or dislike this person, with the judgment behind it, if I'm trying to be defensive and self-protective, and then we add on top of that trying to trust and respect, we can see how the foundational beliefs are going to interfere with some capacity we've developed. But when we let go of the natural tendencies that we have when we believe we're separate, now we're free and open to trust and respect. Naturally we do. Now I said like and dislike. I mean it from how we normally think about it. This separate self likes and dislikes people, and those judgments do really interfere with trust and respect or effective communication. Now, when we realize we're one with one being, we might not like everybody because our our personalities, if you will, our interests don't match, but it's from a different place then. It's not, it's not a judgment in the way that our separate self judges, but it's in just, I don't like this person, but I still see this person as one with me. I hope that makes sense. I still see this person as one with me. I just happen to not like their personality. But that doesn't interfere, because the foundation at that point is knowing we're one being. So with the foundation of knowing we're one being, that permeates just the sense that I don't really like this person. So that infuses it instead of the other way around. If we're judging the person and then trying to trust, then the foundation is the dislike. So let's see. So checking that I covered this. That it's not necessary to develop the capacities. I believe so, because they just naturally occur. Now I say they naturally occur. It's not like immediately. Like we could have the insight realized in our bodies pretty quickly that I'm not separate. Sometimes it takes a while, because our separate self wants to stay in control. So it can take a while even for us to go, oh, I get it. We're not separate. But let's say that happens pretty quickly, maybe within a few days, a week of inquiring to check on this, because we're always doing our own personal discovery. Never take my word for anything. Personal discovery. Then we realize that, well, our bodies are conditioned with our past judgments and beliefs and separations. So it can take a while for it to really be truly natural, because we also do the emotional work to dissolve the emotions and the habitual patterns in our bodies that are out of alignment with this realization that occurs. So that can take some time, but it becomes natural over time for every reason I've said today. And so we can stop pursuing the developmental path, because if trying to develop capacities on top of a misunderstanding that we're separate, all that's going to be infused with the separation and that sense that I need to protect myself, even though I don't want to protect myself right now because I'm going to try to trust this person. That's very hard to do. But when we realize there's no need to protect ourselves, we've freed ourselves of those beliefs, then we naturally can trust and respect the person. All right, so are there any questions? Hope that made sense. Does that make sense, Sharon? I know I kind of went here and there with it, but I think I communicated the message. So any questions? All right. So that might be supportive of you too, to continue to take this on, to know who you truly are, to realize, oh yeah, I can give up developing. I can give up all those practices. Now, if you like the practices and like to, deepen your ability to trust and respect, in addition to the deep knowing that you're one, and so it's more natural that you would. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying it's no longer necessary. But if you like that, then go for it. Okay, great, Sharon. Glad that it all made sense. So thank you again for being here, Sharon, and anybody watching this on replay. Anybody else watching right now, thank you for being here. And if you have any questions, post them. I will answer them. And if you want any support, any guidance with regard to how to live as our essential nature, the one being, then please send me a message, and we can schedule a time to talk about how we could work together. I do one-on-one coaching, have an ongoing group, also do work in organizations, and would love to explore with you what's possible in your life by knowing who you truly are and being able to live that way. And one example is today. You can easily respect and trust the other person, in addition to more easily get along with people. More easily issues I've had with people, I'll say my sister. I mean, I'm sure you might have a sibling where over the years, things, they know how to get on your nerves, so to speak. Well, things that used to get on my nerves don't bother me at all anymore. It's that sort of thing. Things just don't bother me. It's not that I have to remember, don't let that bother me, or that shouldn't bother me anymore, that sort of thing. No, just naturally, it's like Teflon. It doesn't bother me anymore. because of this knowing, this understanding. It's much more freeing, much more fun, much more loving as well. So thank you as we continue to answer our call to live with the purpose and the meaning that we inherently are, and to live the lives that our hearts know is possible. Have a great day. Bye. Oh, Sharon, I see. It requires reset every time I see myself as separate. Yeah, that's a great addition, Sharon. Yeah, that and requires reset. And I'm going to guess, Sharon, given what the work you've been up to, that it doesn't take long. You know, once I see myself as separate, oh, we catch ourselves and we just remind ourselves, and then over time it becomes more and more natural. So thank you for adding that. All right, thanks again. Bye.